What's up, y'all? It's your favorite girl in the world, D Ford, and we are here for another episode of What's Up Shreveport. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and you already know, if you see that logo and this face, that means that we are coming to talk to you guys about something amazing that we have going on here in Shreveport. So what's up, Shreveport? What y'all doing? How y'all doing? Happy Monday. I hope that you guys had a great day. My day started off crappy. Didn't start off the best. However, I had to push through anyway. And guess what? I am here today with an amazing person. But before I get into our interview, you know I got to shout out my listeners. Shouts out to everybody that's on the radio on our SGR 81.4 FM, The Heat. For Social Ghost, shouts out to my ghost producer, the best boss man in the world, Shady Will over there in the back. How you doing, boss man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you. So, y'all, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this interview, right? Because, y'all, we are at a very important time here in Shreveport right now. This week is very important for us. If you don't know, it is time for us to vote. And woo, child, if you have not been on the forefront of what's going on when it comes to the political scene here in Shreveport, baby, I don't know what you've been having going on, from the watch parties to the mayoral race to the city council race. It has been a lot going on. But what we wanted to do here with Social Goals, we wanted to take the time to grab some of the candidates who are running for different offices, and we want to have a sit down with them. Now, we've reached out to several people. You will see other candidates that are on our show this week. However, Mr. Henderson was the first person to be like, oh yes, I want to come talk. I want to tell the people what I feel they need to know. So thank you so much, Mr. Henderson, for responding to our call.
Listen, thank you all, and I am impressed, right? And so there are a lot of hidden gems in the city of Shreveport, and as you're out on the campaign trail, or if you've been working in the community, you just kind of stumble upon and show Social Goats, which I've been on the show before, but you know, I'm reminded of how great you guys are.
We don't.
Yeah, and I applaud you guys for the effort and things that you're doing. It's very positive, and it's more things that need to be highlighted in the city of Shreveport. So, you know, kudos to you all for the work that you do.
Yes. Come on here. You better come on here and tell us that we're doing a good job. Because what you said was so true, and that's one of the reasons why I love Shreveport, and also one of the reasons why I haven't left. We have so many hidden gems here in Shreveport. Anything that you can get in any other major city, you can get it in Shreveport.
That's absolutely right. And we have got to work together to capture our story and to tell our story. You know, I met with a group of supporters and people that I was trying to win over, and they were talking about the city of Shreveport, and somebody called it Ratchet City, and I said, wait a minute. We can't do that, right? And these are adults, right, talking about Ratchet City. There's nothing in my mind that I can think of positive that would come from that connotation about the city that we live in, because we have some great people and some great things in the city of Shreveport, and I've been all over the country, and I'll put up people from Shreveport, Louisiana,
to anybody,
especially Shreveport City Council District G, against anybody in any circumstance against anybody in the country, and I'm confident that Shreveport will land in the top 2 and 3, if not in the top spot.
I'm telling you, we have had some amazing people. Just last week, we had like 4 people from Shreveport that were down in New Orleans working on the Will Smith movie that'll be coming out soon. So it's like you said, there are so many amazing things going on in Shreveport. But what annoys me is that other people see it, but we don't.
Well, we have some challenges, right? And so we are in election season, and you know, Shreveport City Council District G is probably the largest district in terms of land mass. So, you know, we're from the west side of Queensboro neighborhood, parts of Lakeside, but then we go all the way, you know, Pines Road, out past Greenwood Acres Church, almost to Walnut Hill Elementary, Newcastle, you know, Steeplechase, Western Hills, Queensboro, so Country Club Hills. It's just a huge area, and the needs are as diverse as the landscape, if you would. And so we certainly have some things that we can highlight and celebrate. And as good as we are, we're not as great as we can be. And
I
that's
agree
why
with
I'm
that.
running to represent Shreveport City Council District G.
So y'all, we got into this fire conversation and I didn't even tell y'all why this man is here. Well, I did a little bit. So let me go back a little bit, right? So I am super honored to be sitting here with Mr. DerrickHenderson. He is running for city council right here for Shreveport District G, as he just explained. He just told you what areas, because that's something we got to do, y'all. You should not have graduated from Shreveport, been here your whole life, and you don't know what district you stay in. You should know what neighborhood and what district and who represents you. The reason why you need to know who represents you is because when you're driving down the street and you hit that pothole, you need to know who I need to contact to get these streets fixed, right?
That is absolutely right, and so when I'm in the neighborhoods, the 3300 block of Lillian Street, which is in the heart of Queensboro, the street sign says the 3100 block. Right, and
Wow.
so it's the things like that that really matters, right?
I never heard a politician or anyone who desires to be a politician to know that the street sign numbers are out. That means you've really been out in your neighborhood.
I have been out canvassing the people. There's a lot of apathy in the community. People, the inner city part of our community is riddled with drugs, guns, dogs, dilapidated housing. People have worked and raised their families, and they deserve to be retired with some dignity. I talk to seniors who are afraid to come out of their house at any point of the day. And it used to be at night. You go back in the house before it turned dark outside. But now, just because of what's going on in our neighborhoods, a lot of seniors feel captive in their home. In their own home. And these are people that have contributed to the community tremendously. They've gone to work, they've raised their families, and then they're in their golden years, and it's unfortunate that they feel like prisoners on the inside of their homes.
Yeah. So, and it's great because you have gone out and sought the need. You ask the people what do they need and things of that sort. If given the opportunity to serve District G, what are the top three things that you plan on doing in your district?
Well, so when I travel down the major corridors of District G, so that would be Lakeshore Avenue, that'll be Juella, the Pines Road, Greenwood Road. There's no economic development going on. So there's no residential development, there's no commercial development, there's no industrial development going on in District G. And so that suggests to me that District G is on life support, right? And the plug is about to be pulled, right? And so we've got to look at the things that is going to make District G more attractive to businesses and families to come in. We've got to go into the Queensboro area. One, it's dark, right? So we've got to use Build Back Better money to put up new lights. I'm in favor, as a matter of fact, there's a young lady out of Queensboro. She did the research. Progressive cities are using these solar panel street lights. They use LED lighting. They illuminate brighter. They use less energy, so we don't have to depend on the power company. So it saves energy costs to the city, and we can reinvest that money into streets, drainages, other things. But then we can use that money to hang the poles, put people to work to make money in their own community, and celebrate somebody out of Queensboro who did the research and who wants to use LED lighting to make the community feel just a little bit safer.
I like that. That's amazing.
Everybody is paying this $2.50 per month for recycling, but we don't
know.
Right, we don't have a recycling program, and nothing against anybody, but we wanted to give somebody $1 million a year for 10 years almost to operate our recycling program when 99% of the people don't recycle. What I want to do is take that money and give it to property standards and code enforcement. Let's go into these neighborhoods and let's look at the houses that need to be demolished, right? And knock them down and clean it up, and then partner with the people in the community, give them a stipend to keep the property clean until it's either sold or developed. Also, we need to look at what other cities are doing. If those properties can be brought up to code, the city can take ownership of it's a legal process, but the city can assume ownership or control of the properties, bring it back up to standards. We can work with our housing program to recruit families back into the community.
It seems like that should be such an easy thing to do, and it made me wonder, why do we have so many dilapidated houses? Because I didn't think that that could legally be done. Because in my mind, well, if these people haven't paid the taxes on their house, well, the city not gonna just sit there and let it just sit up and just, you know, fall apart. In my mind, the city should give a certain amount of time. After you have intended to it a certain amount of time, the city acquires it and then goes to the next level. So I didn't even think that could be done. I thought it was something in my mind.
There is a legal process, and it has some years attached onto it, right? And so people have an opportunity to come back to reclaim their properties. And then the city really don't want to get into that kind of business, but we are forced in that kind of business because there are houses that have been empty, 20 years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Those people ain't coming back, right? You know what I'm saying? They are a haven for crime, infestation, all, you name
homelessness,
it. All kinds of stuff. And so we've got to do something better. We're not the first city with these kinds of problems, right? And so we need to be smart about how we operate and how we approach these things and look what models have worked in other areas of the state and then other areas around the country to figure out exactly how do we tackle this problem. How do we get people to move back into Queensboro? We can use neighborhood investment tax credit that we say, because let's face it, right now, the community is not in such a condition where if somebody gets approved from a home, they probably, for a home purchase, they're probably not thinking, I'm gonna buy Queensboro. I mean, it is what it is, right?
Speaking from a person who's going through the home buying process, it's not one of the neighborhoods that I listed on. And actually, there you can get a grant or you can get like no payment down if you go in some neighborhoods.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. But because because the area, we can make it attractive again. So we've got work to do, and I'm just honest and upfront about that, right? And so there's some things that we can do. It's gonna have to be scrubbed, right? So the drugs, the guns, the dogs, all that, it's gotta go, right? And then we've got to do something about the streets and drainages to go into those communities and make them where people want to come to live. And we can do that, but we have to have the right leadership to do it. It's a hard decision and conversation to have. But it's the necessary things that we have to do to move the city forward and the area forward, you know.
So community development, we definitely, a lot of places in Shreveport are deemed bad places because they're an eyesore.
That's correct.
However, they look really good. I mean, they're safer, but they just look bad. So we know that redeveloping the community and making it look more appealing, especially in your area, because you have such a wide area. Then I think about all of the traffic that we get there to Independence Stadium.
That's correct.
And things of that sort. So in cleaning up the neighborhood and making it look more appealing, do you have any plans to do anything for our youth? That the youth are near and dear to my heart. I let the grown folk, their minds made up.
So my son and wife, and I, because I was campaigning, but my family for fall break, they went to Disney World, right? We're always over Dallas, Houston, going to the water parks, amusement parks, or we were going to the premium outlet, right? Not what they have on the boardwalk in Bossier, but the shops that we really want to go and shop in. And nothing against them, but
it's sad we have to go elsewhere.
It's sad we have to go right there. Shreveport City Council District G, especially the western part of the district, is the gateway to the city. So it's the first and last impression that people have. I've had initial conversations with the people who manage and own the Simon property groups and saying, hey, we can have a premium outlet in Shreveport, West Shreveport. We have the land, we have the population. Also, those places depend on drive-through traffic, I-20, 31, 32. Major corridor. So we can attract it, but we have to have the right kinds of conversations. We need more restaurants. When I was growing up, we had Hamels Park. That was a big deal to us. Why can't we have a Epic Water Park in Shreveport, right? Why can't we have some kind of amusement for families? on the west side of town, you know. So those are the kinds of things, but more importantly, for my young sisters and brothers, I want to use industrial hemp to get people back to work in West Shreveport.
What's industrial hemp? Talk to me about that.
So it's different from the cannabinoid, right? The lotions and things that you use. It has to be grown in huge swaths of land on the outside. But you use it to make everything from the clothing that we wear, the lining of your car, furniture, you name it, it can be made out of industrial hemp. And it's the wave of the future, right? It lasts, it's biodegradable. You can make soaps. You can
wave of the future, remember that, y'all.
It's the way, well, actually it's happening now in other parts of the country. The thing about Shreveport is because of where we're located, so right now it's grown in the Carolinas and Canada primarily, right? But in Shreveport, we can grow it almost 12 months out of the year because we may have 2 weeks out of the year, you know, where we have issues with inclement weather. But there, you know, they can only grow it maybe 8-9 months out of the year. I'm working with the Louisiana Hemp Association. The president happens to live in Shreveport, and so they're doing some major things in terms of licensures and really trying to recruit people to come to Shreveport to grow it, to harvest it, to process it, and put our people to work. And we're talking about thousands of people that can make $20, $25 an hour. And I say that to my young brothers and sisters because people are always discounting youth, right? College is not for everybody.
Right.
You know, it's not for everybody. Everybody might not even go to a vocational or trade school, but if I can get employment where I'm gainfully employed, where I get benefits, and I'm making above a livable wages, that's attractive to a lot of people. And so a lot of the mischief that people get involved in, I think you'll start seeing it dwindle. But we have, you know, we have the GM plant that's partially empty. We have the inventory and the warehousing space to make West Shreveport a thriving and vibrant community. And we were the hub of manufacturing in Shreveport, right in Shreveport City Council District G. But we've got to have a leadership who's going to work with whomever the new mayor is, whoever the state legislatures are, to really recruit and bring businesses back to Shreveport and people who want to live and work and play in Shreveport.
So y'all, for a lot of y'all who have ever tuned into What's Up Shreveport, I have to say that I've interviewed quite a few politicians and aspiring politicians, and I have not ever spoken to anyone who's come up and who's come to my table and had plans for what they want to do. A lot of people could just say, "Oh, I want to decrease crime," but they can't tell me how. You have been able to give me an example of what you were willing to do and what you can do in any situation, and I love that. So that's an amazing thing. These are the type of people that we have to see what a person's plan is, you guys. No matter if it's city council, no matter if it's the mayor, no matter if it's the president, you need to be able to know there's this problem. How are you going to fix this problem, right? That's what we need to do when we're considering people to vote for candidacy. Tell me, why do you think all elections are important, right? Why do you think this election for the city of Shreveport is so important, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, because we have an opportunity to go in a different direction. You know, I don't bash anyone, but the truth of the matter is that we've been plagued with legacy elections with entitled candidates. You know, they don't go to debates, they don't do interviews, they're not showing up, and they may knock on a few doors. You know, and I mean, if you got it like that, you have it like that. I'm trying to earn your vote, right? So I've got to work at it, and so it is what it is. I raised my hand and said to the people, you know, that I will, you know, submit myself as a candidacy. You guys got to support me. You know, I'm not volunteering to do this on my own or by myself. Like, we really have to build community coalitions.
Correct.
Across District G, Democrat, Republican, Black, White, to come up with a plan of action that they can hold me accountable to, but that I can also hold them accountable to.
Accountability. Right. Can we talk about that word for a second? Shreveport don't like to be held accountable for nothing.
Well, you know, because the simple fact that, you know, identity politics, right? So I know the name, you know, so we vote for names, but we need to look at what how that has benefited us, right? You know,
Say it again.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. This is the first time that we'll have a runoff in Shreveport City Council District G in almost 20 years,
Wow.
right? And so it's a new opportunity, certainly, to select new leadership. And I'm hoping that, you know, people will go and vote, you know, their confidence in me to represent the area.
Okay. So as we're wrapping up, what is one thing, if I gave you a magic sucker wand, and I gave you this wand and I said, hey, you could wave this wand and you can have one thing that you want for the city of Shreveport outside of, well, as we're going to say is if you have your seat as councilman. What's one thing that you would wave your magic wand and do for District G once you're in that seat?
Well, District G, again, is the gateway to the city. You know, we're the first and last impression that people have when they're either coming to or leaving out of Shreveport. I mean, it is what it is. If I could just wave my magic wand, all the roads would be, you know, repaired. There would be adequate lighting in the community. People will be earning above livable wages.
Yes.
You know, the median income would be, you know, $60,000-$70,000.
Come on, I'm moving to your district.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like we could do it, but we've got to have leadership, and we've got to work together, and we've got to see people who can see beyond, you know, their immediate circumstances. And I know change is hard, right? And it's hard to go and say, you know, who do I vote for? How do I make my decision? But, you know, you live in your community, right? So you know what condition it is far better than I do, right? Because I'm not in every community every day, right? And so, you know, you've got to assess your situation, and then you've got to say, you know what? I'm gonna go vote. And I tell people this all the time, and I've spoken at a few churches, and I get really passionate about it because, you know, if you are a person of a descendant who wanted to vote, but who could not vote, and then you choose not to vote, then you're dishonoring their legacy. You know, and so, you know, I don't know people's family dynamics, but you know, my granddad, when I was a little boy, he used to put me and my cousins in that big yellow Cadillac Brougham, and he would take us to the polls, like, you know, because he really felt that service is what we owed for the air that we breathed, you know, and he wanted us to be civically conscious and civically minded. And he felt that that was the least that he could do. And my granddad, and his friends, they had a community, a neighborhood association without being formally organized. They knew who was coming in the neighborhood. They knew who we could and could not play with, you know what I'm saying, what streets we could and could not be on. And they would organize and have community cleanups, you know, have some pride in where you live, right? Because we can't depend on people to do things for us. We've got to do
it ourselves.
And so all I'm saying is I'm a change agent. It's time to make a change. I'm asking people to go out and vote for me. I'm number 112 on the ballot. DerrickHenderson. I'm not perfect. Now, I don't want anybody to think that I'm not perfect, but I have had experiences that I think would benefit the district overall and move the district forward.
Well, you have definitely given me a lot to think about, in all honesty, and I need you to get out my business because I'm totally disgusted with local politics, and I real deal cultivated the thought in my mind to not vote.
Well, and let me tell you, so something that, so a lot of people depend on local elected officials for economic development, jobs, all that kind of stuff. Our job is to support economic development. The Chamber of Commerce is responsible, or the main driver for economic development, right? So they own the businesses, they have the money, they can expand, they can pay more wages. They ain't got to ask nobody. You know what I'm saying? Anything that I do, I've got to get 3 other people to vote for me, or to vote with me. And so there's going to be some give and take in it. And I understand that you have to use diplomacy, right? And so I'm gonna fight for my people, but I'm also going to be diplomatic in my approach to my fellow council members, because I've got to have 3 people voting with me to get anything done in the district. And so
I think that's one of the problems with our people. We don't know the game. We don't understand, and that's one of the things that I can appreciate you with speaking through. Since we've been here speaking today, you've explained everything along the way, and I think some politicians play to that ignorance that some people don't know. That's why you see so many people mad at the mayor for the streets, and he don't have anything to do with it.
But he administers, but each district, you know, it should be advocating for how much money they want to spend and what's priority, you know, definitely for their district. But I want to remind people, you know, so for 4 years we've had, you know, 4 black city council people, which is the majority, and an African American mayor. It is what it is. And you look around the community, not a lot has changed. And for the last 11 months, we've had 5 African Americans and an African American mayor. I'm not advocating for anything or anybody. I'm just saying that at some point something's got to give, and somebody's got to have a heart and compassion for the people, and somebody's got to do something for the least of us, as well as maintain what we have. The Pines Road area could be a major player in economic development and moving this area forward. I love my brothers and sisters on Uri Drive. I even love my brothers and sisters on Mansfield Road and, you know, in Southern Hills. But I want my community and my area to strive and thrive as well. And
yeah, there's no reason why Uri Drive should be popping more than the Pines Road.
Yeah,
especially when it's like right off of 20. You know what I'm saying? So I
So where they have hotels without restaurants. You know, so that's all been by design. Like it did not happen like that.
But they want to put a sex shop over there.
They put the hustler Hollywood over there. You know, we organized a petition against it. There is a temporary restraining order for them. They go back to court on December the 12th. Now here's the thing.
So you don't even have the position yet, but you are already advocating for what you believe that area needs and doesn't need. That says a lot.
Well, just Google because we ain't brand new to this. You know what I'm saying?
We're true to this. Yeah.
We're true to this. You know, now they're gonna probably open, right? Because as long as they have less than 18% of their floor space dedicated to adult items, they're going to be able to operate without a special use permission, special use permission permit from the MPC. So they're going to be able to operate. So my first priority when I get to Shreveport City Council is to work with the other council members to say, you know, besides alcohol, you know, if you're servicing and selling it, that automatically comes before the city council. But anything to do with sex or drugs, then, you know, they can get around it. And so we need to change the ordinances to include some other businesses in there. And listen, I don't have a problem with adult stores. I don't, because there's a market in there. But it should not be next door to a high school, to a daycare and walking proximity to a high school. You know, it's just, it would not have happened at Bird, it would not happen at Captain Shreve. And so our kids are already exposed to too much. And so, you know, we don't need that in our community. And so I have nothing against those people, you know. Order the stuff off the internet or do what you do. You know, being in a shopping center, it kind of like seeing these off and ducked off somewhere, you know what I'm saying? But not the first impression that you get when you come into Shreveport on the Pines Road. Our community, that's not what we want. No.
Gotcha. I love it. So is there anything else? So we know you're 121 on the ballot.
No, I'm 112.
Okay,
112.
sorry. 112 on the ballot. Voting is December the 10th.
This Saturday.
What else? December 10th came so fast.
It came, well, not if you're a candidate. It's a lot of long days and long nights. You know, it's sacrifice. And I respect anybody who offer themselves to run for public office because you are scrutinized heavily scrutinized.
I respect y'all too, because that's why your girl ain't gonna do it. I'm just gonna support y'all.
Yeah, you know, you're heavily scrutinized. And people, there are a lot of wants and needs from people, and they are dependent on you to make a difference in their circumstances. And I'm always careful that I don't make promises because I don't know how the other city council members are going to vote. You know, I know that this is what I'm going to present, and this is what I'm going to be passionate about. I'm going to be passionate about growing Shreveport District G, cleaning up Queensboro, and then trying to, you know, work to bring families back in there. I'm going to be passionate about the conditions of the roads and the dilapidated housing, and then I'm going to be very passionate about economic development in the west side of Shreveport. City Council District G. Those are the things that I know I'm be passionate about, and anybody that knows me knows that I love District G, you know, and so those are the things that I'm going to be working.
Because I would love to see that area, and even like the Cooper area, but like in my mind, when I see these neighborhoods that are right off of a major interstate, like that should be thriving. The only reason, what's this area up here, Blanchard and all that?
No.
They are thriving. I went up there a couple weeks ago, or about a month or so
stuff
ago,
everywhere,
and I thought I was in a whole different area.
and new stuff everywhere, and so when you look at there's nothing. Well, it probably is different because we are the second or third largest tax base for the city of Shreveport on the Pines Road, West Shreveport, and only thing that has stopped us is the leadership, and it's been on purpose, right? Because if we have it on the Pines Road, they are scared that people will not go to Uri Drive. And that has been by design.
Ah, I didn't even think of that.
That's been by design.
But
And we
it's
fight,
enough-
and we
But
know that
it's
for
enough
years.
for everywhere because I mean, yeah, they don't even.
So when you go
I
to
never
other-
thought of that, but that makes so much sense.
So when you go to other places, they have everything you need right where you live, right? Except in Shreveport. And
Yeah.
that
Even in Bossier.
Right.
Bossier is set up like the perfect progression city.
That's
you
correct.
have all of your businesses, your shopping here, you got your neighborhoods right here, you got your schools. So even Bossier is designed like that. But I never thought about
if
that.
we want to see Shreveport grow, we've got to make major economic development in West Shreveport. We don't even have a hospital. Like, we're the only community in Shreveport. We don't have any urgent care, ambulatory care in West Shreveport. And it makes absolutely no
Well,
sense.
I never thought about that either. So if somebody was to get hurt on Pines Road, they got to go all the way to Oshner.
Oshner to Willis Knight.
Because I'm trying to think about what Willis Knight is close over there.
Right. Well,
Oh,
you know, you go
north.
south or north or, you know, but.
Oh, I never even thought
So
about that.
so we have fire station, right, and EMTs, and we love those guys, right, and we support those guys. But if there's a fire, a stroke, and a heart attack at the same time, somebody in trouble. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense other than we have been deprived of the opportunity, and we've got to have leadership that wants to see it develop. You know, I've done research at looking at middle class African American neighborhoods across the country, the kinds of quality of life things that they have, parks, recreations, what's in those parks, like an adult park, restaurants, shops, those kinds of things. Those are the kinds of conversations that we have to have about Shreveport City Council District G, and we've got to have more African Americans who are a part of the major chamber. You know, and I know some guys that look like me, and if I can name them on one hand, that's not enough in this city. No, you know, we've got to embrace the young entrepreneurial class, the minds.
Because we leaving.
Yeah, and we
We
don't want,
leaving.
yeah, and we've got to get you guys making, you know, $150,000, $200,000. So could y'all can
Some of us
live,
will
work,
stay
and
here
shit.
for $60K because it's
Right.
hard for a lot of us to even
Right.
get like, you know, $50,000, $60,000 when I
Right.
can go 30 minutes down the street and make that money. So
Yeah, right.
You're very, very correct.
We got a lot of work to do, and I would like for that to happen the first month that I'm on the council. But the reality of it is that it took us a while to get here. But you know, I am determined that we can work to make things better.
Well, I am thoroughly impressed
Thank
with
you.
everything that you said today. You've made some amazing points that I hadn't even considered or thought of. So I definitely appreciate you for planting that seed of thought in my mind. Do you have anything else you want to tell the people?
Well, I just want to tell the people to make sure that they get up on December the 10th. I'm praying that the lines are long like they've been in the Georgia Senate runoff, but to make sure that you have a proper ID, right? That your ID is updated, that you may eat a snack or something before you go. But then make sure you go early enough just in case there are some problems, because there were all kinds of challenges for the primary election. But you need to go early enough to make sure that there are no problems with the machine, and that if you live in a district that you are able to vote for mayor as well as city council, District G, and if you can't, then the poll workers are there to accommodate you, and they need to be making sure that they're on a phone with the cattle register of voters to make sure that everything is copacetic.
Okay.
And then most importantly though, I always ask for support. I ask for prayers because I do believe in prayers. But then I'm more importantly asking people to give me a chance. Let's do something different, in Shreveport City Council District G. And that's the best that I can do. And I humbly, ask for their vote. I'm number 112 on the ballot, DerrickHenderson, Shreveport City Council District G.
Hey y'all, so you heard it from the man with the plan. I can actually say a man with the plan and it be true. Cause he got the plan, y'all. He has the plan.
A plan.
He has a plan. And that's what we have to start. See, you got a plan. That'd be my thing. I haven't heard plans from a lot of people. And if I don't know anything else, I know failing to plan is planning to fail. So I appreciate you for having a plan.
Thank you.
We can only start by having a
Thank
plan,
you.
and I appreciate that immensely. So again, guys, if you are in District G, make sure you go Google Mr. Henderson. Look and see what he stands for. Look at our video again to see the different things that he plans on doing. But I totally agree. There is no reason why the west side of Shreveport should not be thriving like some other sides of Shreveport, especially when we're a major corridor on 20 West. So let's go out. Let's make our voices heard. You already know my motto. Vote up or shut up. It's simple.
And remember, again, if you are a descendant of a person who wanted to vote, but who could not vote, and you choose not to vote, then you're dishonoring their legacy. I love my kinfolk.
What are your ancestors gonna say? They're gonna ride your back if you don't go vote. They're gonna hunt you. No, I probably shouldn't say that, but
they should.
They should.
They should.
They really should. And that's like I said. I thought in my mind like, oh, I ain't going to vote because I was mad. This mayoral vote, this thing, I'm telling you, I was mad. I was like, oh, I'm not even gonna vote. But I know that's extremely irresponsible because every year of my life, before I could vote, my mom took me, like your grandfather, my mom took me to vote with her. And once I had kids, I began to take my kids with me. And like I went to go vote last time and I didn't take my 12-year-old. And he was like, wait a minute, Mom, you ain't take me to go vote with you. So, and that's actually something else that families need to get back into doing. There's no reason why you should be going to go vote and you got a grown but tail child at home, sitting at home and don't vote.
Or your boo.
Listen, you can't even lay with me unless you voting, baby. What are you doing?
And let me tell you something. Brothers, the sisters are doing it.
We're going to step.
The sisters are doing
We're
it.
gonna
I have to say, we got some brothers that's doing it, and I don't want to bash my brothers because I'm for the brothers, and we've got to build up our African American men. We've got to get them reintegrated into the community, as fathers, as producers of the community. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. Now, sisters, y'all have all kinds of support groups and all that kinds of things, and I understand that. As black men, we don't really know how to be vulnerable to let other brothers in, and I get it, right? But I think that we've got to do something.
We just got to create the space and let them know that it's safe. That's one of the things that I've been doing, trying to create spaces for men to know that they're appreciated and loved. I do a Father's Day thing every year just to let them know that we love them and we appreciate y'all, but y'all have it. Black women, we have it hard. But black men, y'all got it worse than us.
Nobody knows how hard it is to be a black man except a black boy.
I'm telling you. I was in the car with my friend, and the police was behind. We were on the interstate, and he just saw lights in the rear view. And just to see the look of fear come over his face. Now this is a manly man, take care of everybody, everything good. But when he saw them lights in that rearview mirror, the fear on his face was like, it made my heart drop.
So PSTD, post-stress traumatic
post-traumatic stress
disorder. It's so. And I promise I will not talk a whole hour, but there are studies that show that our inner city kids experience more gun violence and death than parts of Beirut
Wow.
in Iraq. But we give no attention to that. We give no money to that. So people are really stressed out, especially with COVID being confounded and, really not having a release. And so mental health is important, and it's a real thing. And we've got to desensitize it, and it can no longer be taboo, right? And people have got to, again, we got to create the space where people feel safe to say that I'm having these kind of issues, I'm having these kinds of thoughts. And so, maybe I'll come back at another time and talk about that. I'm not an expert, but I was in Washington, D.C. at a DOJ conference a couple of years ago, and my fraternity brother actually was presenting to the DOJ about how we need to have money to deal with African American men and PSTD.
Because it's real.
It's
real. Once that police officer drove past us, he took a breath and he was all right then. But I could just only imagine how you guys feel, not only with a police situation, but with so many other situations. But that's
can I tell you this lastly?
Yes.
So a few years ago, I met with the police chief because we wanted to learn about training and development of our officers, like when we recruit and mainly sensitivity training, diversity and inclusion training. They have, as I appreciate it, unless it's changed in the last few years, but there's like a 30-minute video that they watch. And I was like, wait a minute, you gotta be kidding me. So we're not putting the resources in to bringing in experts to work with our officers on diversity and inclusion and sensitivity. That's a huge problem. A huge problem. And in my estimate, it's negligent. And so one of the things that I do want to work with the new mayor, if I'm on the city council, when I'm on the city council, is we've got to get some diversion, inclusiveness, and sensitivity training for our officers. And it's got to be more than 30 minutes. I'm talking about bringing people from the outside and doing some
and it should
days
be something
training.
that's done yearly.
Ongoing.
Or
well, because
often.
think about it. If my only perception of African Americans is what I see on TV, criminal, dismissive,
aggressive,
all that kind of stuff. But then Caucasian, rich, vacation 7 days a week, come home one day, then go back on vacation. Not the kind of, if those are the only perceptions that I have of each group, and I've not had the experience, or I've not been afforded the experience to have some real interaction with. So when I drive up and I see an African American male, and my only frame of reference is what I've seen on TV and the media, I'm going to be aggressive in the situation, and that can't happen. That cannot happen, So we've got to do something about it.
We got some work to do, y'all. And it sounds like we got some good people in place who are ready and excited to get the work done. Don't forget, get out and vote. This Saturday. Ooh, I said Sunday, Jesus. This Saturday, because y'all know ain't no polls open on no Sunday. This Saturday, December the 10th, go out to the polls, and we are voting 112. Mr. Henderson is 112 on your ballot. Make sure you guys give him your vote. If you don't vote, you have no voice. Your vote, your voice. Vote up or shut up. However I gotta say it, to make you guys understand how important this is, I need for you to make sure that you make your voice count. Social Goats cares, and y'all, that is what's up Shreveport. We are headed to the polls. So look, all week we're going to be talking to different people throughout the city who are working hard to make our city better. Because what's going to happen is we're going to hold these same people accountable. So y'all see Mr. Henderson here. Now when he get in office, right?
I raise my hand to come back as much as you all need. If there's an issue, whatever, I raise my hand to come back to have the conversations. Y'all can ask me the hard questions.
And y'all know I'm gonna hold him to it.
Yes,
I'm gonna hold his hand to the fire, because it's not often that we get someone willing to do this, right? And I think that's a big problem in Shreveport politics, is we just been saying playing politics. We haven't really been reaching and teaching and progressing the people. And we got to change that. So, again, thank you guys so much for tapping in. Mr. Henderson, thank you so much for coming out. You have been a wealth of knowledge for so many different things and so many different aspects, and I appreciate you for that. Again, thank you so much to my ghost producer in the back, Mr. Shady Will. I appreciate you guys for everything. Don't forget to like, follow, and share Social Ghost on all social media platforms. And to our radio listeners out there, we love you guys too. Make sure you keep tapping in, and I will see you guys next time. That's your girl D Ford on What's Up Shreveport.
Goodbye.